Hello, welcome back to my channel. Neethu here. Hope you're coping up with this pandemic situation. Do take care of yourself and your family. In this video, I hope to give you an insight into national education policy. So if you like it, kindly like, share and subscribe. Post 34 years of the same education structure recommended by the Kothari Commission, which was last reformed in 1986, India witnessed the beginning of a new era in education. On 29 July 2020, the Union Cabinet sanctioned the new National Education Policy and renamed the Ministry of Human Resource Development as Education Ministry. The draft for this policy was given by the former ISRO chief, Shri Kasturi Rangan. National Education Policy aims to achieve 100% youth and adult literacy. Now, let us briefly look into the highlights of this policy, which is intended to be completely implemented by 2040 and which aims at making India a global knowledge superpower. Some of the notable school-level reformations include universalization of education from preschool to secondary level with 100% gross enrollment ratio by 2030. The previous 10th plus 2 structure has been replaced by 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 structure with 12 years of schooling and 3 years of Anganwadi or preschooling. States will prepare an implementation plan for attaining universal foundational literacy and numeracy in all primary schools for all learners by grade 3 by 2025. Coding lessons will now commence from grade 6. The medium of instruction until at least grade 5, preferably till grade 8 and beyond, will be the mother tongue, local or regional language. No language will be imposed on any student. Indian Sign Language (ISL) will be standardized across the country, and national and state curriculum materials will be developed for students with hearing impairment. There would be exposure of vocational education in school and higher education system along with internships. Students would be exposed to a bagless period of 10 days every year. Communication skills would be given importance and syllabus in general would be reduced. Continuous assessment reforms with 360-degree holistic progress card would be introduced for achieving learning outcomes. This will be evaluated by the student, peers and the teachers. Now, coming to grade 10th and 12th board examinations, they would be made easier. Core competencies would be tested rather than just memorized facts. All students will now have the opportunity to take the exam twice. There will also be no rigid separation between academic streams such as arts, science and commerce, extracurricular and vocational streams in schools. A new National Assessment Center per ROC will be set up as a standard setting body for all recognized school boards. NCC wings in secondary and higher education schools under Ministry of Defence to be encouraged, including those located in tribal-dominated areas. Breakfast is planned to be added along with the present midday meal program. The UGC and AITC would be replaced by the Higher Education Commission of India, HECI. Holistic multidisciplinary education with multiple entry and exit options would be reintroduced. In this, a student would receive a certificate after 1 year of the course completion, advanced diploma after 2 years, bachelor's degree after 3 years, and bachelor's and research at the end of 4 years. Academic bank of credits would be established to facilitate transfer of credits, which would aid in restarting your course from where you dropped off. MPhil courses will be now discontinued and all the courses at undergraduate, postgraduate and PhD levels will become interdisciplinary. The National Research Foundation will be created as an apex body for fostering a strong research culture and building research capacity across higher education. Affiliation of colleges and single stream is to be phased out in 15 years and a stage-wise mechanism to be established for granting graded autonomy to colleges. Higher Education Commission of India, HECI, will be set up as a single umbrella body for the entire higher education, excluding medical and legal education. It will be having 4 independent verticals for regulation, standard setting, funding and accreditation. Multidisciplinary education and research universities at par with IITs, IIMs to be set up as models of best multidisciplinary education of global standards in the country. By 2030, the minimum degree qualification for teaching will be a 4-year integrated BEd degree. A common national professional standards for teachers will be developed by the National Council for Teacher Education by 2022 in consultation with NCERT, SCERTs, teachers and expert organizations from across levels and regions. Also, a new and comprehensive National Curriculum Framework for Teacher Education 2021 will be formulated by the NCTE in consultation with NCERT. NEP aims to increase the public investment in the education sector to reach 6% of total GDP on education, from the current 4.6% of GDP. Top 100 universities in the world will now be able to set up campuses in India. In such a scenario, fee capping would be implemented by the Government of India. NEP emphasizes setting up of Gender Inclusion Fund for girls and transgenders and special education zones for disadvantaged regions and groups. An autonomous body, the National Educational Technology Forum, will be created to provide a platform for the free exchange of ideas on the use of technology. Appropriate integration of technology into all levels of education will be done. A dedicated unit for building digital infrastructure, digital content, and capacity building will be created in the Ministry of Education to look after the e-education needs of all levels of education. NEP aims at promoting adult learning through television channels, applications, etc. The National Education Policy 2020 has some shortcomings too. Education lies in the concurrent list, so for NEP to be successfully implemented, the state governments would have to cooperate too. For this to happen, the states could be added into the regulatory structure of HECI, which would not make it a completely national level regulator. While NEP aims for a wonderful change, we at present, especially government schools, do not possess the necessary infrastructure. Also, NEP doesn't give much insight into the implementation of these well-structured reformations. Confusions remain on how to break down the existing education methods, fee regulations, funding, etc. Though we open our doors to foreign universities, many of the top educational institutions aren't quite ready to set up their colleges in India. Okay, let us say they do. Then arises the question of brain drain, both in terms of faculties and students. Now, in our country, it can be challenging to convince parents about the equal importance that vocational skills share with academics. The National Education Policy 2020 has its merits and demerits, but it is high time that our Indian education system underwent a change. Marks do not determine a child's potential, talent does. Let us stand together and support this policy and voice out our suggestions and opinions to tackle down its demerits, all for a better educational experience for India's children, India's future. Let us educate, evolve and explore. Jai Hind.